I cannot believe y'all didn't tell me about this. I can't believe y'all didn't tell me about this. Why wouldn't y'all tell me about this? We have to talk about it.
Only apply that. Get it, don't be timid when you ain't apply that. Love a bone, give along, leave it. I don't want no trip, baby, say like it.
My name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related, and I am here to put you on, okay? Welcome back to the channel, you guys. If you're new here, my name is Ashley. This is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all the things TV and movie related. Y'all know I'm here to put you on, and we have to talk couples therapy, season 5. I have never seen a single episode of couples therapy until now. In the Discord yesterday, we binged this entire season. I think it was 8 or 9 episodes. We watched it all. Watched it all because what in the world is happening? This started because I was scrolling on my TikTok and came across a clip, and I said, I have to watch because what the hell is going on? What is going on? If you liked Blue Therapy, come over here and give this a try. Now, what I will say from my little research that I did do, Blue Therapy, which we reviewed earlier this year, came out on YouTube before this show, but it's the exact same concept. We have real life couples that have decided that they want to allow cameras to be involved in their sessions, and they're meeting with a psychoanalyst to get help in their relationships. And so we're seeing all manners of couples with all manner of issues and trying to see if we're going to reach resolve or if the relationship is over. Dr. Orna Girlnick returns. All 9 episodes dropped on Paramount Plus on May 15th if you have premium, right? Because I got premium because I don't do commercials. We have 4 brand new couples. Again, this is real therapy, filmed and edited. So we're introduced to 4 couples immediately. We have Marjorie and Jason. We have Sienna and Chris. We have Clinton and Shay. And finally, we have Nessa and Draya. Okay. And we're going to go couple by couple. That's the best way that I know to approach it because there's stuff to unpack. And if you're a therapist, I would love to hear your take in the comment section because I'm only giving my opinion based on my lived experiences, okay, at this point, and my opinion as an outsider looking in. Don't take none of this personal. This is what I took from it and what I saw when I watched, and kind of the consensus when we were watching together in the Discord, because listen, it's a lot to unpack. And I think these are issues that are very timely and very relevant in what we see in all types of relationships, right? So let's get into it. Marjorie and Jason, they have been together for 111 years. They have children together, a son, I believe, and they are just at an impasse. What it's presented as originally in the first episode, you think this is about politics. He's a Trumper. She's not. She is the complete opposite. And now that things are so polarizing, this has come to the forefront. My thing is, y'all have been together for 100 years, baby. You knew he was a Trumper. You knew he was a Trumper. You knew he had conservative values. She honestly says that it just really happened during the first election. And he said he's always liked Trump. He liked him on the show. He liked him in the movie. He liked him on The Apprentice. That's just what it is, right? We find out that they've also been dealing with weight loss situations. I guess the Zempic, the GLP ones. He did it. He was successful. She's not. There's been contention there because he feels like, I don't know if he feels like she's lazy, but that she didn't give it enough of a chance, right? On top of that, he's seeking emotional support from ChatGPT. ChatGPT is his person that he goes to and confides in when all hell is breaking loose. We also find out that she has children, I believe, prior to their marriage, and said children don't really respect him. He says she and her kids laugh at him in his face based on his views and opinions, and that makes him feel some sort of way. He feels dismissed in that way. We also discovered that he was a crackhead in his former life, okay? And it started out because he was diagnosed with ADD, ADHD. They gave him all manner of medication. That didn't work. When he got older, he turned to other drugs, and eventually he ended on that heroin, okay? Full on crackhead. out here in these streets. And it took him a while to get clean and sober. And now he kind of just has this resolve that he doesn't like the idea of medication in the treatment of ADHD. And that becomes an issue later because she, without his knowledge or consent, gets him evaluated and gets him on ADHD medications. This couple is very interesting because, again, there's no one person that's really right. I think Tony, we were talking in the Discord, and he said like there's no one really to side with in these situations because these are real people, and real people are complex and nuanced and have layers, and in any given situation somebody's right and somebody's wrong, and that may not always be the same person. As far as Marjorie, I never felt like she was going anywhere. Like, the therapy's cute, but baby, you're not leaving this man. You love this man. He gave her sex one time and she came in that therapy session so elated, like he knows why I'm happy. Everybody knows why I'm happy now. But still we have this divide. He says, I've decided I'm just not going to talk about politics anymore. I'm just not going to talk about it. That will, quell that. But that's not really the answer. And I really like how the psychoanalyst kind of digs in and is like, well, that's not really a solution. So how do we get past that? How do we get to a place where both of you can feel heard, both of you can, say what you want to say and, decide from there. I do think that he was right in a lot of the situations. Like, to be honest with you, like, you don't take anybody's child, especially when the other parent has a history with addiction, a history with ADHD, a history with being diagnosed early and placed on medication. I don't think you go behind his back and do that. I think if you're going to do it and you're going to do it whether or not, I still think you tell him. And I think you let him have input into the process. Um, Ultimately, they decide that they are going to stay together because they've been together all of this time. He understands that she just wants what's best for the child and for their future. But he's also still a little bit passive aggressive. He sent angry emails to her mother because he basically internalizes the mom's feelings against him and feels like the mom doesn't love their child together as what happened in his own life. And so he's kind of conflated the two things. I'm not mad at him about his situation with the animals either, because she has 7 animals and she don't want to change that kitty litter. He said, I don't want none of these animals. The least you can do is make sure the house is clean and you've taken out the litter. I think these are things that happen in relationships. I think as you grow and you evolve, people can get different political ideologies. I do think that's him at his core from the beginning, though. I think if she was paying attention and listening, she knew that already. I also think she was never going anywhere in this situation, no matter how bad it got. But I do think that they both seem invested in the relationship and that they're going to be together. Ultimately, they chose each other. And, is it going to work? I hope so. I don't want to see any families disbanded. They've been together for a very long time and share a child together. I think all of their issues, from what we can see, can fully be worked out. But that was Marjorie and Jason. Let's get on over here. Sienna and Chris. Now, people shouldn't piss me off this much, but Sienna pissed me off. And for whatever reason, take this as you may, when Black women are in relationship with white men and abuse becomes an issue, it feels very much like slavery to me, and I do not like it. 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 Now, Sienna is biracial and Chris is Chris. And we find out that they met because she went up to him and said, I want to sit on your face. From that day forward, they have never been apart. And I think we're 12 years deep now. That's what it took. That's all it took. But the relationship has not all been face riding at this point. Okay. There has been trauma. There has been infidelity. There has been all manner of evil. We discover very early into their sessions that he has been paying for cuddling. He's been paying the host to cuddle him, and I believe do much more than cuddle because he needs that. Because we find out as the plot thickens that he has very severe mother issues, mother wounds, mother trauma. The mama wanted to see his dingling. The mama was wanting him to take her out. The mom was doing all manner of evil against him, and he never sought help until now. And again, I don't think that couples therapy was enough. Like, you needed your own individualized therapy on your own. And so that he's in this relationship with all of these mother wounds, with all of these issues, and now they've produced these children because they've been together for 12 years. She said that the infidelity completely blindsided her. She found this out on her own, not because he came forward and admitted to it or confessed it, but because she found it. And then she says he goes dead eyes. And I guess that means he flashes out and starts being really nasty verbally to her, very pointed, sharp attacks. She said this infidelity broke her so down. So she was admitted intensive outpatient treatment because she lost her mind. She couldn't work, she couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep, she couldn't raise her kids, all because this man cheated on her. Chris reveals more infidelities through the session. And honestly, at one point, we just kind of leave that off and we start diving into his situations. And so he's trying to share his trauma. And she's like, oh, baby, put your head in my lap. Let me rub your shoulders. If you don't let this man unpack his stuff and let him sit in it and deal with it, you mothering him and breathing down his throat and oh baby, oh I hear you. Shut up and let him deal with that's his issue. I think what I saw in the relationship was that he saw what he thought was a mother figure, right? In his life. And he's kind of treated the relationship as such because he's seeking that, because he has this mother wound, right? And when she didn't fulfill that or serve that, he went out in the streets and paid the hookers to do it, right? So anyway, we get into his traumatic past and he's sharing all of those details. And like I said, she's babying him, she's pulling on him, she's doing all those things. And eventually we get to her end because it doesn't make sense. As we're watching and hearing everything, her actions don't really align with what we're hearing. Like he's violated your trust, he talks crazy to you, he's halfway present, halfway not, and you're smiling, loving on him, holding him. Oh, baby. Oh, this. Oh, that. Oh, that. Oh, this. Ultimately, we do get a moment where she expresses some sort of anger and rage, and we hear a very traumatic story, trigger warning essay, on her end about, being bullied in school because her mama didn't know how to do her hair, all of these things, and eventually a very brutal assault that she undergoes. And in that moment, I was like, okay, now she kind of gets it. And now we're going to see some growth over there. She's going to stand up for herself. She decides that she's going to go back to school during the course of therapy. And ultimately, that I need to get away from him. I need time away. That last 2 seconds. By the last session, they've got matching tattoos. They are back together going strong. I don't believe that he has fully dealt with all of his issues still to this day. I think the level of trauma, we find out that his father was a very affluent man. His mom never wanted kids, but his dad did. After the kids are born, dad has a stroke and he can't do anything. Mom unravels. She's drinking, she's harming them, she's doing all manner of evil. They enlist a Tongan family to come in and support and help, and that family takes him in, but when he becomes an adult, he finds that they care about their own and he's kind of on the outs of it. And so that also is another thing that he's internalized and, participates in why he acts out and all of those things. Again, they ultimately decide to recommit, and I'm still scared for both of them, honestly. I don't think that there was healing there. It really felt like we're going to do this therapy right. We're going to get in here and we're going to be the best that we can be. But I don't know if they really, really healed. I hope they did. Right, for the sake of the kids and for the sake of their own lives. But there's still just something so empty there, because it was interesting because we find out her father left, and so now you're with a man who's also left, right? He's there presently, and they talk about ambiguous loss. I believe in the series when Orla is talking to her peers about these different cases that come through. And I don't know, I felt like that resonated strongly because, you have this father who was never there, the black, right, father on this side. And now you're with this man who is physically present, but not really present because he's seeking things outside of you and doesn't even feel comfortable enough to talk to you about his infidelities or those things. Again, ultimately, they decide to be together. Choices were made. Choices were made. moving on down the line, let's go to Nessa and Draya because I'm gonna save Clinton and Shay for last, child. Because what the freak? But Nessa and Draya are a same sex couple who have been together since they're for 20 years. They've been together since they were kids, since they were late teens, early 20s, right? And Nessa wants the freedom to explore and dream. What it immediately felt like is that one had outgrown the other, right? Like I am out here and I've gone to school, I've worked in corporate, and I want to see what my life looks like without you. Like right now, like you can't elevate me, you can't help me push me forward into destiny. So that means I don't need to be with you. No matter we've been together 20 years, no matter we've got this child, no matter we've got all these things, yeah, that's not enough. So we meet Nessa, and of course there's that, right? Like the outgrow. That's what you immediately see on the surface. But then we dive into, being raised in a Catholic household and being told that her lifestyle is wrong. And now I'm questioning whether God is speaking to me about this relationship. Maybe I don't like cooch anymore. We later discover that Nessa's been with men and apparently cheated the whole time with Draya and ultimately ended up with Draya, right? So you've tried the straight thing, you've tried the gay thing, you don't know what you want. Honestly, throughout all of the sessions, it felt like she was just trying to make excuses to get away from this lady. Draya initially comes in very much like, I love her. She's all I know. She's the best part of my life. She took me to Disney World. She took me to Olive Garden, my first fine dining experience. I ain't never had nothing, ain't never been nowhere, don't know anything without her. I love her down bad. I think that is dangerous in any situation for your romantic partner to be the first to kind of expose you to all of those things, especially at such a young age, because I think it creates this potentially unhealthy bond, not all the time, but a lot of the time, because now I'm leaning on you and looking at you almost as if you're my savior, right? And we later discover Drea's relationship with her mom. She opens up and shares about that. And Nessa all the while to me is vacillating. We hear about the back and forth. Sometimes she wants to be with me, sometimes she doesn't, sometimes she want to smash. She wasn't crying when I was licking the coot cat, all of these things. So it was so back and forth, so back and forth, so back and forth until finally Draya says, listen, I'm done. We'll figure out a way to co-parent, but you're not going to keep telling me you don't want me. And that's my thing. Don't ever let somebody tell you they don't want you more than one time. Baby, make haste. All right. And so she says that. And the next thing we know, oh yeah, I realized, I realized I loved her and I can't be without her and I like her. It felt like manipulation. That felt like not missing your well till your water runs dry. That felt like you liked it when I was dependent and fully leaning on you, but the time I decide to walk away, that's when you want me. This feels like about control to me. I did not like that. I did not like that at all. I did not like that at all. But they're back together. But I fear the cycle will continue. I fear the cycle will continue. And like Drea was saying, listen, I'm 40 years old now. What am I gonna wait 10 more years for you to come out your bag with something else? First it was this, first it was this, first it was this. I honestly think they needed to separate for an extended period of time and figure whatever out before even approaching another situation. Again, that's my opinion on the outside looking in. I don't know these people's relationship, but I really feel like that is dehumanizing for somebody to continue to tell you or make you feel that you're not good enough to be with them. You're not good enough. You're not going to elevate me. You're not going to take me here. You're not evolving in the same way as I am. It's one thing to believe that, take action steps to separate, right? It's another thing to stay in the situation and keep repeating that to someone while you're still being intimate with that person, in my opinion. Anyway, they decide to be together. And this is they stuff, child. That's listen. Now, Clinton and Shay. This was the clip. These were the clips I kept seeing. And I was like, what is happening? What is going on? I need to get it. I was like, is this a skit? Is this rehearsed? Is this scripted? Alas, you guys, it is not. We meet Clinton and Shay. Shay is a trans woman who's been transitioning for 20 plus years, she says. And this is the first time she's been in a relationship with someone her age. Most of her suitors prior to this point have been much older men. And so she's excited. You know, Shay's got swags. Shay's a model. Shay's established out here in these streets. Shay pays her own bills. She said, I ain't got nobody to lean on. I take care of me. Then you have Clinton, who's recently out of his mother's home. He's been diagnosed with autism in his 30s, and he's a teacher sporadically, apparently. Okay, they meet instantly. They're enmeshed. They so in love with one another. But there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. They were planning to move in together. They were planning to do all of these things, but there's things that lurk under the surface. Namely, he's stealing this lady money. He's stealing this lady money and complaining about it and don't want her to talk about it. She said, listen, he had credit card debt. I paid down all his credit cards. All right. Next thing I know, he's racked them back up again. He wants me to stay over his house. I said he needs a bigger bed. I'm going to pay for the bed. He decides to get a 60-inch TV. I said I was going to pay you back. Yeah, but you're not. He's crying. He's emotional. He's doing the most. What I will say, autism, sure. I believe it. I believe he's neurodivergent. That's fine. I also think he uses it as a weapon and a form of manipulation in these rooms, in these spaces, in this show. I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe he's trying to play on everybody's head top. The meltdowns were ridiculous. It was like temper tantrums. And it was only when confronted with a hard truth that he didn't want to address. He does it later when Shay is sharing something so traumatic about her upbringing. You know, she was basically exiled by her mom and dad, really traumatic stuff, and she's unloading, and it's like really the first time she says she's been able to vocalize these things and really get it out, and immediately he interrupts her with his own stuff. Yeah, that's why I feel like you remind me, you're like that. You remind me of my mom. And it's like she's speaking about the most traumatic time of her life caused by her mother, and you're comparing her to that person who traumatized her. Clinton, that's how I know it's intentional, but she feels like she's mothering him, because, he's trying and basically he's not doing enough. On top of that, we're adding the layer that this is an open relationship. However, they're supposed to disclose. The specs wasn't working right or whatever. And so anyway, Shay said they had needs, but it wouldn't be emotional. It would purely be physical. And everybody was fine with that. But now we find out he's in Discord servers, hooking up with other people, paying for car service here and there for other ones, and he doesn't want to admit it. He's searching online intimacies and being close with them, and Shay feels just devastated and betrayed by this fact. And he says, listen, this is what she wanted. This is what she wanted. This is where she's at. Ultimately, they decide that they need to continue on, but in individual therapy. And apparently, next night, he's got plenty of hoes. He's in relationship with multiple people. Um, and it honestly, for me, Clinton, it gave a fetish. It definitely gave a fetish. And I'm not sure, we didn't get to explore that deeply, but I'm very curious about that. Again, he says, I'm living on my own, I'm independent. And Shay is like, really only with my help. I think that the breakdowns, the meltdowns, the explosions during the session were too much for me. The crawling in the corner, doing all that. And I get it. People are different. I just feel like he used it as a weapon as it relates to Shay. And Shay, I mean, honestly, you could tell that they were struggling with not giving into that. Ultimately, I believe that they each decide to go their own separate ways. I saw Shay comment on a TikTok post that says she's free now, and I hope she stays free. I hope she stays free because that was a terrible situation. And honestly, they were so unequally matched. There was no balance. There seemed to be really no reciprocity in the relationship other than the fact that this was finally someone, I feel like Shay's age, that fully accepted them for who they were and were proud and out and all of that. But I don't know, y'all. It was a lot to deal with. It definitely reminded me of Edmund from Love is Blind. Um Definitely. Definitely. Again, and I'm not shaming neurodivergence or being ableist. I honestly feel like he used it as a weapon. It was about the placement of the tantrums. It was about every time I'm confronting you with a truth that you don't want to accept. Now it's time to spaz out. But you guys drop it in the comments. Let me know what you thought. This was cinema. Pure D cinema. This was reality TV done right, in my opinion. Now, is it ethical? They signed this. They signed on the dotted line to do this, which makes it public fodder for discussion. Ultimately, on the sweet pea rating, I give this about a 4.7, 4.8 sweet peas out of 5 sweet peas. This was really good. This was really interesting. And we like to take a deep dive into what is going on in real relationships. What are the real issues people are dealing with in their relationships? But listen, it was interesting. Drop it in the comments. Let me know your sweet pea rating. Let me know what you thought. Is this something y'all have known about for seasons and just never told me about? If so, we need to have a discussion. Like, comment, subscribe, hype the video, do all of the things, and I will see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching.